When I was a child, I once drew a picture of a snake that had swallowed an elephant. I showed it to the grown-ups hoping they would understand, but they only saw a hat. So I stopped drawing and learned to speak their language instead. Years later, I became a pilot. One day, my airplane broke down in the middle of the desert. I was completely alone, far away from any town, any help. That night, under a sky full of stars, something unexpected happened. A small voice woke me up. It said very calmly, "Please, draw me a sheep." In front of me stood a little boy. He had golden hair, gentle eyes, and a quiet smile. He was not afraid. He did not seem lost. He looked as if he had always belonged to the desert. I tried drawing sheep after sheep, but he was never satisfied. Until I drew a simple box and said the sheep was inside. His face lit up with joy. That's exactly what I wanted. The little prince told me about his home, a tiny planet, no bigger than a house. There were 3 volcanoes there, which he cleaned every day. And there was a rose. The rose was beautiful, proud, and fragile. He cared for her, protected her from the wind, and listened to her words. But her vanity and small complaints confused him. Not knowing how to love properly, he decided to leave his planet and travel. He visited many small worlds. On one lived a king who wanted to rule everything. On another, a man who only wanted admiration. There was a drunkard, trapped in shame. A businessman counting stars he could never truly own. And a lamplighter faithfully lighting and extinguishing his lamp over and over again. Each planet taught him something, but none felt like home. Eventually, the little prince arrived on Earth. At first, he felt very lonely. Then he discovered a whole garden full of roses. He realized his rose was not unique in appearance, and his heart felt heavy. That was when he met the fox. The fox asked to be tamed. Day by day, they sat closer. Silence slowly turned into friendship, and the fox shared a secret. What is essential is invisible to the eye. One only understands with the heart. The little prince understood then. His rose was special, not because she was the only one, but because of the time, care, and love he had given her. Meanwhile, my airplane was finally repaired. The little prince knew it was time to leave. He missed his rose. He missed his planet. On the last night, we walked together under the stars. He spoke softly as if comforting me. He said the stars would now be full of laughter. Whenever I looked at the sky, I would hear him laughing among them. The next morning, he was gone. I returned to the world of grown-ups, but I was never the same. Whenever I feel sad or lost, I look up at the stars and listen, because somewhere, on a tiny planet, a little prince is taking care of his rose. Now let us take a quiet moment. Let the story settle in your heart. Let the images fade gently, like starlight at dawn. The little prince reminds us that growing up does not mean forgetting. It teaches us that love is built through patience and responsibility, that true value cannot be seen, only felt, and that the most important things in life are often simple and fragile. In a world that rushes forward, the little prince invites us to slow down, to listen, to care, and to remember the child we once were. If one day you feel lonely, just look at the stars and smile.